View from an apartment. The word dream is technical and means nothing, so we can use it whenever we want. Max's dream has masks and is lit from the side and the back. I did not dream this dream, but lay with eyes open instead, and the dancers were my friends. We have lived a life that lasted some time. Now we live another liquid one. Our vestments are invisible, say the crows. Our lake is a secret imperfectly kept, says the ténébreuse. You must stay awake until this ends.
Vue d'un appartement. Le mot rêve est technique et ne signifie rien. Aussi, nous pouvons nous en servir quand nous voulons. Le rêve de Max a des masques. Il est éclairé de côté et de dos. Je n'avais pas rêvé ce rêve, mais m'étais étendu les yeux ouverts à la place. Et les danseurs étaient mes amis. Nous avons vécu une vie qui a duré quelque temps. Maintenant, nous en vivons une autre, liquide. Nos vêtements sont invisibles, disent les corneilles. Notre lac est un secret, gardé imparfaitement, dit la ténébreuse. Vous devez rester éveillé jusqu'à ce que ceci finisse.
Thank you. I'll read from the last section of Thread, a few poems. Well, a few, I'll explain. The last section of Thread is called Thread, and it's in effect, one poem in, what is it, 16, 18 stanzas, though the poems can be read individually as well. It came from just before this book was published, a time of mourning. The poet Raul Zurita was in San Francisco, and he was reading from a sequence of poems about the Argentinian, the catastrophe of the junta, very powerful poems, but it had taken him many years to come to terms with. And at the same time, I was doing some traveling, as Omar noted. I was in Barcelona, among other things, thinking about visiting the horrendous cathedral there, thinking about Franco, and at the same time thinking about the fact that we, like the Adenauer years in Germany, were refusing to come to terms with the catastrophe of the Iraq War, the war crimes, the torture, the killings, etc., the bombing of civilians, all of that. And we still have not, in the United States, begun to come to terms. Oh, they're not political poems, but they are poems of a kind of reflection and mourning coming out of that experience. Thread. Thread, stanzas in counterlight. And it begins with a little quote from René Char. Du labyrinthe aux deux entrées jaillissent deux mains pleines d'ardeur. Nighthawk and Sunburg, beauty of the world, beauty of the world. How can one write beauty of the world? Fumbled for each other in the dark, familiar, unfamiliar, the touch of watery air, walls, weight of watery air, cards scattered across a table, game of chance they have played. Alyosha in this next section is Alexei Parshakov, a Russian poet, contemporary of mine, a friend who died a few years ago, and who translated my work and whose work I translated with the help of people who actually knew Russian. So, Alyosha, maybe it is true that we live in perhaps the earth, perhaps the sky, chemical winds, auroras, tides, chalk hills and blistered pines, and the microtonal bells, and those who swallow ink, the ringers of bells. Perhaps they will inherit the bogs and salt marshes, the swamp grass and samphire, jacket with torn pockets, shredded cuffs, will inherit the sea foam, the dust, the ferrous mud that reabsorbs us. In the next one, Mahmoud is Mahmoud Darwish. From the mercury fountain, Mahmoud spills a stream, echo of things, sun to stone, speaking, cicada to poppy, not milk of paradise, no river of stars in the dark, just the bent wheel of days, meaningless ripples in the heat. From the eyeless mountains, Raoul, fall voices beneath voices. We hear the hawthorn, the penstemon, the goldenrod. Even here, hawthorn and goldenrod, shadows of wheeling turns, mountains, then sea, sea swallowing mountains. We hear, and we hear the tongues of days, names melting into sea, wave mouths in different air. Even here, lodestar, lexicon, labyrinthos. Along the corridors of the invisible world, Raoul, gardeners raise such flowers as need no light, such flowers watered by voices as need no eyes to be seen. It is the role of the lovers to set fire to the book. In the palm garden at night they set fire to the book and read by the light of the book. Syllables, particles of glass, they pass back and forth in the dark, the two invisible, transparent in the book, their voices muffled by the book. It is the role of the lovers to be figures of the book, the illegible book, changing as the pages turn, now joined, now clawing the fruit from each other's limbs, now interlaced, now tearing at throat and vein, then splayfoot and winged and ember, as the music of the book, rustling through the palms, instructs. We must count in Babylon. Surely in Babylon we must count the days and the dead, the chambers of the palace, its stones, its steps, its flaring lamps, must count the clouds, the petals of the flowers, the hours. We must count the hours as they pass, so slowly for the young, so swiftly for the withered masters of this place, ardent assassins of speech, hidden away. Surely in Babylon we must count the gardens tended, the towers raised by slaves in this city, soon to be dust. Count the days and the dead. Must we count the dust? Nighthawk and Sunburg, who will tell of it? Shore's eyelid, earth's rim, light from extinguished stars bathing us in time's wake, time's long stream of slaughter and song. Some love the one more, some the other. Under the sign of the alphabet, the rain fell up. The bodies in the quarry spoke of the Lord's great hunger and the Lord's blackened tongue. And they chanted the secret names of the Lord one by one. And the rain fell up. The bodies in the quarry danced, and the sky filled with sand, the color of rust. The blind boys sang, and the dead men danced, and the deaf men heard their chants. Two more. From the mercury fountain, Mahmoud, flow the tenses, past, present, future, future past, first and last, daily acts. Desires, angels of slaughter and syntax, the 0 and the 0 plus 1, deep eyes, slender wrists, coffee and speech, sleeplessness and its dreams, the meadow orchid, low within the grass, evening primrose, cadence on the felt of the dice so casually thrown, the tumbled stones, the field of tolling flowers. Tenses of the present, Mahmoud, the impossible present, infinite presence, threading now forward, now back, amidst the shattered symmetries and scattered fictions between actual river and imagined shore, actual breath of wind through the frayed, half-open curtain, passing so suddenly over them those years ago, brief flare of the lamp, shadows that danced upon a wall. Chimera. Sightless stars have colonized the meadow. Chimera. Helicopters are birthing their young into the waves. Language of the waves, chimera. Language of the owl, silent petrels by the salt shore, the plover repeating its note. Saw the singer in flames by the shore, watched her swallow her song, nowness in Neverland she sang. Watched the palace disappear beneath the sea, while a later world sailed overhead. Endless amusements of the cruise ship with no origin or port of call. Saw the singer in that ink-dark dream. Neverness and nowness she sang. Beauty of the world, broken world, she sang, chimera, such words the fire offered her. Thank you.